My 28-year-old male wife, 29-year-old female slept with my best friend's brother a couple of months ago and I just found out. Welcome back to another video on the Gossip Corner. Here we have another cheating video found on Reddit because we know that cheating videos are the juiciest. This one was posted by Oh Well This Sucks 123. So let's just jump straight into the post and we can talk about opinions at the end. Fair warning, this is going to be a long one. So, I've been with my wife for just over a decade. We met in high school, started dating, and got married after college. We are each other's first and only romantic relationship. Generally speaking, we've had a pretty solid relationship. We rarely fight, we still love spending time together, and we're 100% best friends. Marriage had, until recently, been easy and wonderful. One evening, last November, she sat me down to talk about our sex life. We have never been super active in the bedroom. It's never really been a problem, though. She has always told me that she's just not that much of a sexual person, and I've always respected that. When we do have sex, it's great. No issues there. But she told me last night that she's all but lost any passion/desire for me sexually. She was very kind about it, but she didn't try to sugarcoat it. She said that she just really doesn't ever want it anymore. I told her that I understood. I was hurt, no doubt, but felt like maybe this was a natural thing in a relationship that's been going on since high school, especially considering that neither of us have ever had sex with another person. I still believe that, to an extent. Long story short, we talked for a couple of hours and came to the conclusion that this was not great news for our marriage. No big decisions were made that night, but we agreed to give ourselves time to think and reflect and have another conversation in a few weeks. When that time came, she told me that there were things I needed to improve that, if I did, would help her get some of her desire back. It boiled down to the idea that I wasn't making her enough of a priority, and it hadn't made her feel sexy or special or attractive in a long time. And she was right, I can admit that. So it became my goal to work on that, and it went really well. After a few weeks of consciously working on it, our sex life lit back up. Better than ever before, actually. It was fantastic. Hooray for honesty and self-improvement. And then, 2 nights ago, I saw a bunch of text messages that I wasn't supposed to see. It was my wife's birthday and we had gotten drunk with some friends. She went to bed at some point and I stayed up a bit longer. When I went to bed, I realized my phone was dead and my charger was in another room. Being way too intoxicated and lazy to go get it, I just figured I'd use her phone to set my morning alarm. I grabbed it and saw that she had gotten a text from my best friend's brother, who lives a few hours away, and didn't know exactly how to feel. The last time we saw him was like 8 months ago at my best friend's wedding, after which I recall my wife saying that she always thought he was attractive, which wasn't a big deal at the time. We're always honest about that kind of stuff. I had no idea they had ever texted each other, though. I thought maybe it was a happy birthday text, but I wasn't totally sure. I spent a minute or two deciding if I should open it. I have never been a snooper, and I don't like the idea of reading her texts, but this felt weird. Maybe it was all the alcohol, but I just felt like something wasn't right, so I opened it. It was not a happy birthday text. To keep this story from getting even longer, I'll just say that I found an exchange of texts and pictures that went back about 2 months. The texts and pictures were of the adult variety and quite explicit. I was able to surmise that they had met up and hooked up in December when she was in his town visiting an old friend. It didn't appear that they had effed since then, but they were sexting on a daily basis. I spent about 5 minutes deciding if I was dreaming, but came to the inevitable conclusion that I was indeed awake. Enter a new kind of pain and nausea that I had never experienced before. With my decision-making skills compromised by bourbon, I decided to wake her up and confront her. She started off by denying everything, but she was still very drunk and half asleep and not making a lot of sense. Eventually, when she woke up a bit more, she admitted to it all. Confirmed what I figured out from the texts. Then, she spent some time blaming me, saying that I had driven her away with my previously discussed lack of marital prioritization. I was a raging dick throughout the conversation, telling her that she was a shitty person and a whore. I'm deeply ashamed of my behavior that night, but holy cow, if you've never accidentally stumbled upon your high school sweetheart turned wife's blatant infidelity, it effing sucks. Yesterday, when we were both sober, we talked again. It was still a pretty awful conversation, but a bit more civilized. She took back the blame, apologized profusely, and told me to do whatever I needed to do. The thing is, I have no idea what I want to do, so, like so many before me, I've come here to seek your advice. She had to leave on a work trip for a few days, which is actually pretty good timing considering I don't want to be around her right now, and I'm just sitting here wallowing in self-pity and debating what to do next. I love this woman with every bit of my being, but also completely hate her right now. My question for you all, what would you do? Divorce seems like an easy answer, but I can't wrap my brain around that yet. People come back from cheating, right? Or is she actually a horrible person that I need to get far away from and work on starting life over again? I don't effing know. I'm lost. This is the worst situation I've ever dealt with, which, silver lining, makes me grateful for how easy my life has been, and I can't figure anything out. Thank you for reading this. I'm sorry if it was long and or confusing at any point. I needed to get things out of my brain to begin processing next steps. Much love to you all. I mean, it's pretty obvious what OP needs to do. But let's just backtrack a second. It seems like prior to this cheating, they had a really healthy relationship. The fact that they were both able to sit down and discuss as adults the issues that they had been having in the bedroom and come to a conclusion and a way to fix things just really goes to show, you know, that they're both mature adults in an adult relationship. I don't think all relationships are capable of having such serious discussions and, you know, being able to come to a resolution as well. So seeing as well, after they spoke about these issues, their sex life was able to come back and there was a huge improvement and it was even better than it was before. It pains me to think about how blindsided OP must have been when he found out that his wife was cheating. The timelines given in the post are a little bit iffy, but that makes me wonder, was she already cheating when they had this discussion and, you know, maybe she just really enjoyed having sex with this other person and it made her not like it as much with her husband? I don't know, but either way, she sounds like an absolute bitch. And honestly, all the things that OP said to her when they were fighting and he was drunk, she deserved, and she deserved worse. This is his high school sweetheart that he just found out has been cheating on him. Like, what's the appropriate way to respond? Also, are we sure that she actually had a work trip to go on? Or was this just her way to be able to go and meet up with this dude that she's been cheating with? It seems a bit like she might be planning on actually leaving her husband, so my only advice to you, OP, is that you lawyer up and try to get ahead of this as soon as you possibly can. Being married for just over a decade as well makes things pretty complicated, so you definitely just want to get on top of this before she's able to. You don't want to give her the opportunity to take you for your money and everything you've got. And I know it'll be hard, and it's probably going to be hard for a very long time to recover from this. And it's going to hurt a lot. The way I see it is that, you know, you might be sad for a while after leaving your wife, but you'll only regret it if you stay with her. You're not going to regret leaving her. You just won't. And I know it's hard to accept that, you know, you've basically wasted 10 years of life with someone who definitely wasn't worth it. It is so much better than wasting another 10 years of life with someone who's not worth it, especially knowing what you know now. Just get out of there ASAP before you give her a chance to hurt you even more than she already has. So now to get into some of the comments on this post. 6CYLV8 commented, "Don't delay, call your lawyer today." Pontifex replied to that with, "She's not fine, drop your lawyer a line." Arthur Dent commented, "Oh hell no, your wife is 100% in the wrong here. This isn't your fault. Cheaters are gonna cheat, then cover it up, then redirect responsibility. She did it for months. It wasn't a one-time thing, and the only reason she came clean is because you found out. It is unlikely that this can ever be fixed. You can't trust her." I know, because something quite similar happened to me. Counselling and amends were attempted. In the end, I got divorced after a decade of marriage and moved on with my life. It hurts like hell, but you get better, and there are all kinds of great people out there to meet who won't completely destroy you like your soon-to-be ex-garbage person of a wife did. Slaw Tactician commented, "Kick her to the curb and enjoy being single." A deleted user commented, "I wouldn't want to come back. She was perfectly fine keeping it from you and wouldn't have done so if you had not caught her. And judging from the comments she made at the time, she was planning it in advance. The good news is, at 29, you're in the prime of your life. It's easy to bounce back after having some single time." Elusive Nutsack commented, "I'm sorry to hear, bro. Everyone is different when it comes to things like this, especially when you factor in people's personalities. In your situation, I would leave. The biggest factor to me is not only did she cheat on you, but she also never came forward with it. You found out. To me, that means it didn't bother her, especially as it was 2 months ago. Also, it was ongoing via text, even if there was no sexual contact after the one time. When people cheat and their partner stays, they usually cheat again, but just get better at hiding it." I completely agree with every single one of the comments. I think that after someone cheats, it's basically impossible to get that trust back. I have heard of relationships working after one person cheats and, you know, eventually they forgive each other and move past it and then they end up really happy together. But personally, I don't believe it. And I think if I was ever cheated on, I could never ever forgive that person. Maybe I could force myself to forgive that person, but deep down that trust would just never be repaired. Things would never go back to the way that they used to be. And that's just not a good relationship for anyone. That's the end of that post. Let me know your opinions down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.